we are going to go to our next guest. He is going to join us here in just a few seconds. The incomparable Anthony Gomes. Yes, that Anthony Gomes. The biggest star in the business, Anthony Gomes, as I like to refer to him. Actually, he's not really the biggest star in the business. He's just...
How you doing?
Look at that. They joined at the exact same time. Fantastic. We are going to go live to... I got to turn my damn video on. Look at that. And,
turn mine on.
And Don's got to turn his video on. It's a hell of a deal here today. But welcome back to our big broadcast here on our world-famous Jiggy Jaguar radio broadcast, coast to coast and border to border on iHeartRadio. Also, AM/FM, 247.com, TuneIn, iTunes, and, of course, Radio Loyalty. And we have with us today our great co-host, Mr. Don Mazzella from, well, he is all over the place. SB Digest, Fox News Radio, he's been all over the place. And our first guest to kick off our broadcast day, a guy that I have known since 2007, the great Anthony Gomes. Anthony, how are you, sir?
Good, sir. You're looking good and sounding great.
Well, thank you. Thank you. You have recently put out some cool music videos. You're getting ready to put out a brand new album. You're doing all sorts of things. Tell me and Don here a little bit about all the cool things that Anthony Gomes is up to.
Well, this spring, we were about 90% done an album called Rock and Roll Blues Man. And
yes.
It's a sassy, crazy, in-your-face album. And it just didn't seem right with COVID.
Yes.
It's like telling a knock-knock joke at a funeral. It might be the greatest knock-knock joke, but the timing wasn't right.
Yes.
So we said, let's just create another album reflective of these times. So in the morning, I'd kind of go out for a walk. I don't know, meditate, whatever, hippie-trippy thing you want to say, and I'd write a song, and we'd demo it, and I wrote some crappy ones, and some pretty good ones, and some average ones, and we took the 11 best, and made an album of it, which comes out in a couple of weeks, called Containment Blues, and we're just really super excited with how it sounds, and it's a much different album.
Yes.
Than we've done in the past, but it's, our bass player says it's a different shade of the same color.
That's awesome.
I'm borrowing that from him. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I have known you through all different phases of your musical career. The blues Anthony Gomes, the New Soul Cowboys Anthony Gomes, and everywhere in between. So tell me a little bit about, take me and Don back here, because You have been number one on Billboard for blues. You got to be number one on Reverb Nation. Talk to us about your success, my friend.
Well, thank you for that. We're just fortunate enough that we have a loyal group of fans that are rabid and very supportive, and our fan base has been growing with each release. Some acts make it big on one album, and they're lucky to sustain a career with that, or they make it big, and then 5 years later, they're working at the drive-thru at Burger King. We've been very blessed and fortunate that every album we get a little bit bigger.
Yes.
And we're so appreciative of our fans, because without them, we wouldn't be here.
Yep.
So we're just, I hate bragging on all the good stuff that's been happening, but a lot of good stuff's been happening.
That's awesome.
Let me jump in, if I may. And just ask
go,
a
Don.
question. Where do you see music going today?
That's an interesting question. I see music becoming more and more specialized, meaning, when the Beatles came out, there was just sort of the Beatles, and they spoke to everybody. Now you have country music, and then you have rock country music and rap country music, and then you have R&B and all sorts of different facets of that. Even in the blues genre, there's so many sort of specific things. So I sort of see music as fusing sounds, fusing genres, because
Yep.
the world's becoming a smaller place. You know, it's hard to have pure country anymore. It's hard to have
Yep.
pure blues anymore. So I think that people will be saying, hey, you know, I relate as being a blues artist, but man, I also like Van Halen, and I also like, you know, whoever, Jason Aldean, and I'm going to
Yeah.
put these things together, you know. So, Don, that's sort of where I see music going in the future.
That's awesome.
But if I may ask a question, it seems to me that music today is not telling a story anymore within the context of of the song. Um, I, you know, I stopped changing with Frank Sinatra, but I know
Right.
the world has changed. But it seems to me when I hear the lyrics, etc., we're not hearing a song that really gives a story to the individual, rather than it gives it more sound. Um, would you care to comment?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there are wonderful artists out there that still do tell stories, um, but you know, we're living down in an era where social media is prevalent, and people's attention spans are 10 seconds. You
Yep.
have 10 seconds to grab somebody with your new video on social media.
Yeah.
How can you tell a story in 10 seconds? It's impossible. The story has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Well,
Hmm.
they're not even going to get to the middle. So, in order to get people with attention deficit in our era today, it has to be about other things, and it has to grab people that need.
Yep.
Um, so it's a sign of the times. You know?
Now, Anthony, you've got Containment Blues. You've also got this brand new video that is out. I believe it's your fourth single, This Broken Heart of Mine. Tell me and Don a little bit about this.
Well, actually, you know, it's a song that deals with heartache and loss, and more specifically, it deals with when your heart is broken already, and it keeps getting broken. You know, you're not starting off at ground zero and you know getting heartbroken. You're already walking in um, with a you know heavy heart, and it doesn't have to be presented a bit like a traditional relationship, a couple relationship. But for me, the song's really about my mother. And when I was a young man growing up, she has mental illness, schizophrenia, and paranoia. And I used to have to go to the hospital and pick her up and see her that way. And every few months, she'd sort of relapse. She's doing much better now. Um, but those were tough days, and it was tough to see somebody you love go through that. And the song has only been out for 5 hours, but I've already received so many emails. Two people have lost children in the last couple of months who were 30 years old, and they've written to me and they said, "Wow, this song really resonates because my heart is just broken from losing this person." And it's meant to be a song that is emotional, but it's also meant to heal people. It's also a common thing that we all go through.
Yep.
It's part of being human. And I'm glad that this song can allow people to express their emotions and live these emotions and not suppress them and be able to connect in that way. So for me, it's a very powerful song. And for some people, it already it really let me know about that.
But can you bring us? Could you tell us the process by which you came to this song?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I feel like the best songs I write on songs that are they're emotional, meaning that I don't sit and I don't think I'm going to write a song about the French Revolution, and you know I'm going to go on Google and research about the French Revolution. Well, I didn't know that. That you know, I write a song and I don't know what it means. This broken heart of mine keeps on breaking, but subconsciously I do know what that means, and you know I just sort of find it emotionally, and then I take the jibber jabber that I've written and I sort of make sense of it. But I think those are the most heartfelt songs because they're not preconceived. They're really straight from the heart, and it's sort of like you have to take this raw material that your heart lets out, and you're not even sure what it means, but you're feeling it. When I was writing these words and feeling the song, I was feeling an emotion. It's sort of like, it's a sense, it's a sense of sorrow and heartbreak. Just like you have a sense of smell, you walk in and you smell cinnamon, and oh, it must be the fall, or it must be apple pie, or you may not know exactly what it is, but it's triggering something in your recollection, just like that song. I think that's a process,
But does it come out in one rush, or is it a series of rushes?
It comes out in one rush, but you write your first draft with your heart, and then you write your second draft with your head. So, and then so like, put it this way, Don, 90% of the song comes out in 30 seconds. And then the other 10% can take 10 years. It's like, just to get that last little part all right. But there are songs I've written that, are like the French Revolution song. And you think about it, and you have to rewrite this sucker 100 times. And it's never as good as the ones that just come out somehow, and I think that speaks about your subconscious.
Yep.
Arthur Miller, author of Death of a Salesman, a journalist once asked him, he said, "Are you writing a new book now?" And he said, "I don't know. I could be." Because he didn't sit down and say, "I'm going to write a book today, put it in chapter 1." It was sort of like he's writing the book by living his life, and all of a sudden a series of events or an emotional experience happens, and then he realizes, wow, I've been writing this book for 20 years without even realizing. So something, I think, triggers it. And then it's up to you, and it's up to the brain to present it in a clever way. And with this song, I didn't try to be too clever. It's a very simple title. It's not, The Whiskey Made Me Do It, or, Your Mama Wants to Do Me and Your Daddy Wants to Do Me. And, it's nothing like that. It's this broken heart of mine. But I felt like if it was too clever, or the sense of the words would lose the honesty and the simplicity of it.
Yep. That's awesome.
Can I go off to a totally different subject?
Yes.
I looked at your. I looked at material that Jiggy sent earlier, and you're a brand. Entertainers now are not only entertainers; they're quote of brands. And I notice you have T-shirts and everything else. I'm curious, how much of that represents your income, and how much of it represents promotion?
Well, in today's music economy, everything is sort of one big ball of wax. You put out an album so you can tour behind it. You put out a T-shirt, for the tour. It used to be, let's say 25 years ago, that the music business worked in this way. 50% of your revenue came from touring, and 50% of your revenue came from CD sales or vinyl sales.
Yep.
Well, with streaming and ways to get music in much more affordable ways, the shift became 10% were sales and 90% was touring. So people like Elton John said, well, that's okay that I'm not selling albums anymore, because I'll just double my ticket price. And what used to be a $50 ticket became a $100.
Yep.
And they said, this is how we're going to make up for lost revenue. So for us today, when we can't tour, man, it's pretty tough. But luckily, people are supporting us. They are buying our merchandise and our music and our T-shirts and our brand. And they relate to that, and we're very grateful, very, very grateful.
Now, you've got 4 different covers for this new album.
Yes.
why 4 different covers? Is it just you got to buy all 4 covers, and it's it's like you were just saying, we gotta make some money somehow, baby.
Shoes, kids. No, you know, this is the first album cover that I'm not on the cover. And
Yes.
when you're a blues artist or a roots artist, say country artist or blues, there is a strong inclination to put the artist photo on the cover because you're also promoting the artist at the same time. And,
Yes.
you know, and there's the photo of Anthony. Well, I got tired of this, man. There's only so many photos of me you can take. I mean, I'm not interesting really that much to begin with. And now, you know, we have 12 albums. So here's me looking at you from this side. I'm looking at you from that side. Here's me with a guitar in my hand. No guitar, you know. After a while, I was just like, oh, gosh. But because these were such unique times, I wanted to represent an album that was more like 70s albums, more like Pink Floyd or Led Zeppelin, or artists that said something with their cover artwork. And each cover represents a different theme and emotion in a particular song in the album. So, yeah, you know, and what I dig about it is that it's not just the cover that's different. The majority of the artwork on each CD is different too. So it was just a fun thing to do, and that's more like what bands in the 70s would do. Led Zeppelin had several covers for the Presence album. I'm sorry, for Into the Outdoor.
Yep.
And they wrapped it in a brown paper bag. It was just something that made the album greater somehow. So we were using that as a touchstone. And if we sell more copies, that's okay.
We have got Anthony Gomes with us today.
It's for the art, man.
Don, do you have a couple more questions here with Anthony before we let him go for today?
I always do, but you're not touring. No one is touring right now. What are you doing to promote yourself and your album?
Great question. You know, I'm happy to say that sales for our previous album was our best-selling album to date. Our new album is tripling the sales of our last album.
Yeah.
We're releasing a video a week, and that takes a lot of work to do a video.
Yes.
And most bands do 2 or 3 for an album. We're doing 1 for pretty much every song.
Wow.
So that's giving people.
Wow.
The album hasn't come out yet, and we have 4 singles. Every Thursday we release a new video. But that's giving people a chance to absorb the music, song by song, and something to look forward to, you know, because there's no bands that are doing really. We've done 2 shows in the last 6 months, and we're doing 3 CD release parties in a couple weeks. But yeah, I mean, it's been pretty dry. So this is a way of us, you know, our fans give us so much. So this is a way of us giving to them and giving them an opportunity to hear the song and put a visual with it.
Do you enjoy going out on tour?
Yeah, it's part of, for me, it's part of the cycle, Don. Like, I love to make an album. I love it. Well, let me put it this way. My friend, one of my best friends, his name is Igor. And when we were growing up, Igor said, I'm never going to be one of those losers that play golf and cut my hair. Igor had long hair. Well, he cut his hair and now he plays golf, you know. And I go, well, do you like golf? He goes, no, man, I hate it. I go out there, I get frustrated, I break my clubs, I scream, and then I can't wait to do it all over again. Making an album is like that in some ways, because it really, the better your album, the more deep you have to dig, and it just doesn't happen right away. There's a lot of failure along the way. But when you succeed, man, it's such a great high, and when the song comes together, and there's nothing like doing that. And to me, touring is the other side of that coin, where you go and you celebrate that album with your fans.
Yes.
You go out and you may play a few more songs from that album on that tour, and you sell that album, and you sell T-shirts from that album, and that tour, it sort of represents that time. And that's the real exciting part. And I love meeting people. I love playing live. I love the freedom of live. You know, you're allowed to take chances. And when you're live, when you're making a record, people expect perfection. They don't expect perfection live. So what happens is some parts aren't perfect, but the parts that are really good are so magical. Um, and I really love that about live, you know. So yeah, I do love it. I do love it, and I do miss it.
Well, what do you do for creating? Do you have an artist you like for your covers and for
Yeah.
your T-shirts?
Yeah, you know, I work with one guy a lot named Stefan Jensen, and he didn't do this album, but he did the previous one and a bunch of others. And he has a company called Warn Star, and he does all these crazy clothes for Leonard Skinner and Bon Jovi and the Scorpions. uh, you know, and they take recycled clothing and make rock star clothing. Why it's called Warn, WORN Star. And but
Wow.
he's also a tremendous graphic designer, tremendous photographer and artist. And I just love this guy's work, and I'm so grateful that we get to work together every now and then. So yeah, so he's a guy I really look to, guys.
That's awesome. Well, Anthony, as we wrap up here with you, I guess the best spot is anthonygomes.com to get all your Anthony merch needs and music videos and everything.
Oh man, everything. The portal to our universe is there. We have links to all our social media pages. All our videos are there. A link to our online store, which is cool. Now we're selling worldwide. We're selling in Australia and Japan, and South America, and Europe, and it's just crazy. Our fan base has become global. Our number 2
Fantastic.
country is Brazil. So
Wow.
yeah.
Well, as we wrap up here, Don, one more question from you, my friend. Do you have?
You know me. I always have questions. I guess the next one is if you had your, where are you going to go from here in terms of
The
music?
next step, you know. One road leads to the other, and you know, we're going to finish up this rock and roll blues man album that we put on
Yep.
the shelf because I think people will be ready for sassy and in your face. And you know, about 20 songs that demoed and that are about 80 or 90% done.
Wow.
And so I can see we're pretty close to having 2 other albums. In 2021, we may have 2 albums that come out. So it's pretty exciting. There's a lot of music. And I looked at this downtime and I said, I'm going to keep my skills sharp. You know, I'm not going to go bike riding and, you know, from here to Washington State, or I'm not going to go to a cooking class and become a culinary chef. You know, I'm going to take this time and I'm going to even deeper with my craft and better.
That's awesome.
And, yeah, and when we come back out there, we're going to be even more ferocious. You know, I have a new band, a bass player that's been with us for a year, and we have a new drummer. And we've had like 15 rehearsals, man. I mean, we're going to need to just play, but I can't wait for people to hear this band, you know. So I think we're going to bounce back in a very strong way, and it's exciting.
Fantastic. Well, Anthony, this has been a honor and a privilege as always, my friend. Thanks for doing this. I know that you're getting ready to do all sorts of things and gonna take a break from everything. But thanks for doing this and chatting with me and Don today.
Oh man, my pleasure. You guys made my day. It's always great to be with music lovers and good people. So thank you so much, guys.
Definitely. Well, thank you, Anthony. And we're going to take a brief break, and we're actually going to go play Anthony's latest single and video for our television viewers here. And we will talk to Don after the break. And Anthony, thanks for joining us, brother. Nice seeing you.
Hey, great to see you both. Thank you.
Thank you, man. There they go. Don Mazzella will be back with us after the break. Anthony Gomes. Of course, the bad man and his guitars. I used to used to say over there at 92.7 The Zoo. And we are going to go to Anthony Gomes' latest music video, This Broken Heart of Mine, and it is here on your world famous Jiggy Jaguar radio broadcast.
Keeps on breaking every time you walk away. I can't find a way to stop this aching. This broken heart of mine keeps on breaking. You keep on looking at me with those faraway eyes, and you say, oh, you know we tried, but I'm here all alone. Baby, come home. I can't live without you. This broken heart of mine, baby, keeps on breaking every time you walk away, child. I can't find a way, babe, to stop this on breaking. Well, I'm here all alone. Baby, come home. I can't live without you. This broken heart of mine, well, it keeps on breaking. Oh, every time you walk away, Lord, I can't find a way to stop this aching, and this broken heart of mine keeps on breaking. This broken heart of mine keeps on breaking, baby. Oh Lord, and this broken heart of mine keeps on aching for your love. This broken heart of mine keeps on breaking.
That is Anthony Gomes, This Broken Heart of Mine. Check out anthonygomes.com for more information. Containment Blues, available October 16th. And that about wraps it up here for this